Congratulations! You have found WrestleShoot, hosted by the Wild Thing Rob Wilds and the ladies' man Chris Casanova. Combined, we have 40 years of wrestling experience, and we're here to share those experiences, stories, and knowledge with you over the podcast airwaves. We'll be joined by friends of ours from time to time to share their stories and experiences with you as well. So climb aboard the crazy train we call WrestleShoot. We know how to do it, and we do it real well. Oh, welcome back, boys and girls and children of all ages, to the Halloween Spooktacular. And whatnot. The Halloween specials. That's right, Halloween. I'm your host, Rob Wild. Of course, joined by, God damn it, you motherfuckers. Of course, joined by the lovely and talented, the multifaceted, the sexy as hell, my hetero life mate, Chris Casanova, and of course, the world famous creepy Santa. Hi, guys.
I'm feeling fine, Amber. Thanks for asking.
Good. We're glad to hear it's coming along. Glad to hear things are starting to look up for you. Hopefully, Jimmy, you are going to get your happy ass the entire fuck out of Phoenix and over somewhere safer. Now, drop back a little bit. Let us see you. What I said to you a little bit ago, you look kind of like Robin Williams right before he killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Those eyes, man, just creepy.
I know, they're terrible. Oh, God. So anyway, here we are. We are waiting for our very special guest to join us. What's up, James? And by the way, hey, Amber. Jimmy, I think that your adoring public wants to see those beautiful bedroom eyes one more time.
You see bedroom eyes?
Oh, God.
Oh.
I didn't say it was like a nice bedroom. It's kind of like a bedroom you find in a crack house. That's what his eyes are.
Okay. Kind of like that weird, creepy, unsuring. Okay, yeah.
All right, James, shut the fuck up. That's enough out of you.
Hey, even James says it, but the bedroom eyes.
That's what I'm saying. Michael Myers' bedroom.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Man, Jimmy, is that the same dude who came out when we were doing cleaning out the closet and said we could call it coming out the closet? Is that him?
Yeah.
Man, you're a fucking genius, James. I really get a kick out of your shit. So what we're going to do today is we are all going to take, whether you believe in the supernatural, whether you believe in ghost goblins or spooky kind of shit, or you don't, we are going to tell you some stories tonight that are absolutely true as we experience them. And we're going to try to get into our one of our favorite newest segments, Laughs and Lies. You know, what we're going to just have some laughs and tell some lies.
Ooh, I love that one, man. That was a great segment when we did it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It got a lot of positive feedback. I don't want to do it, however, until Roxy Red is with us. That's going to be our special guest today. He's having a little bit of technical issues, and he's coming back. So, that being said, why don't we spend just a couple of minutes, everybody, and just make fun of Jimmy? Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right. So I see Chris is wearing a costume. He's a prisoner. I see Jimmy is wearing his favorite Halloween mask. Well, what do you call it, Jimmy?
What is that?
Oh, the fucking fuck nut.
He's just staring at us.
He's doing that creepy Jimmy thing again. God damn it!
Like I'm about to like kill you and chop you up and like have you for dinner.
Do you remember when creepy Jimmy was the creepiest person that we ever dealt with before that Uncle Jay lunatic showed up?
What?
Yeah.
I just camped up in the shower. That's all.
Yeah, you did cam right up in the shower. Chemo reservoir.
That's entertainment.
Good guy put that up there, dude.
Man, when are we gonna hang out with James, dude? We'll leave
Yeah,
Jimmy
I like
behind.
James.
We'll have James come on the show.
James needs to make a guest appearance.
You want to get in my van, little boy?
Only if you got some extra chemo to share, son.
It said chomo, not fucking chemo.
God damn it, I gotta start wearing my glasses. Maybe I need prescription shades. What do you think, Cass?
I think so.
All right, so next week, before we get into all of our Halloween stupid shit, coming on over to Tampa, man. We're going to hang out. We're going to get old Casanova tattoo. We're going to broadcast WrestleShoot live. Looks like Roxy just popped in. We're waiting for his camera to load up.
I'm wearing my Biden costume.
Your website.
You smell delicious.
Oh, God, no, don't do that.
Dude,
all right,
I got chills, man, from that.
Our guest is here. God damn it. Come on, work. Is it just me? Are you guys not seeing Roxy either?
No, it's a complete black blank.
Shut up, James.
Roxy, say something. Can we at least hear you? Look at him. Look at him down at the bottom. See, we can see his screen. And he looks mean. Jesus Christ.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. You with us, Roxy? Can you hear us? Okay, what the fuck? Okay, so we got Casanova wearing a costume. We got Roxy with face paint on. We got Creepy Jimmy. Hey. Why did you motherfuckers not tell me we were wearing costumes today?
You didn't get that memo?
Oh,
What?
crap.
We can hear you. We heard that. I'll bet you in 5 minutes, Roxy Red ends up in his car with his face paint on, driving around to be on the show.
Is that Linda Blair behind him?
That is Linda Blair. When his camera's working, her head spins around.
Okay, I want to see the vomit, man. That'd be great.
I don't think it does that. Can you hear us, Roxy? Oh, shit. I think we're going to have to send Roxy for a drive because he's got some good fucking ghost stories.
It's chopping in and out.
I'll chop you in and
Fuck.
out.
I think it's time for a night drive.
You can't hear me?
I'm thinking it might be. Yeah, we can hear you. Kind of.
Shit.
It's kind of in and out.
I can hear you. Your video's just choppy.
We're chopping out on him too is the problem.
Yeah, you guys you guys are kind of choppy on my end. I don't know what the deal is with my computer. It must be my computer then. Something.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Maybe you need to run
The WrestleShoot Halloween special. I can't believe you didn't invite Uncle Jay.
Yeah.
So I thought I would crash. In the spirit of my favorite holiday, I have come up with some rhymes that I thought you guys might like. There once was a guy named Rob who really was kind of a knob. No. That one's not good. That was not good. There once was a guy named Chris who was full of vinegar and piss. No. That one doesn't work either. There was a guy named Jimmy Castle who really is quite the asshole. And he fucked around with the wrong fucking clown. And I'll put my fist right up his... Oh, no. Let's do something different. Let's get something more original. There once was a guy named Roxy who right now is looking kind of foxy. He picked the wrong side. Like Bonnie and Clyde, he's gonna get sprayed by... I don't want to give away the punchline.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
What the hell, dude?
What?
Oh, man.
That was the gay Joker.
Uncle Jay. That's exactly who that was. God damn it. You know what, Chris? I got another one of these today, dude.
Dude, come on, man. Seriously?
Great.
It keeps happening here. It keeps happening. And he's walking right up and putting it on my door. Remember last time it was a blue one. Now it's a pink kind of one.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening. God, wouldn't you know it, on fucking Halloween that lunatic shows up.
Yeah. Wow.
Why do we keep
Right.
acknowledging
It's Halloween. What do you expect?
I expect that lunatic just to leave us the fuck alone, man. Is that really too much to ask? It's like he sits there and watches us and waits for us just to fuck. Well, oh, God damn it. Just to fuck with us. Just like this. Just
Gosh,
like this.
Come on.
Look, let's not acknowledge it. Let's move forward. Let's get down with some good stories. Roxy, you want to start us off, man? Tell us a story. Okay. How about this? While Roxy's getting this thing figured out, I'll start us off with the story.
Oh, okay.
Roxy was in this story. Back when we were just young lads, still dreaming about greatness in professional wrestling, we were also, I guess you would call it ghost hunters before ghost hunting was cool. We just wanted to see something, anything. Because me, unfortunately, I have what my aunt used to always call the second sight, where I've just always seemed to have been able to see things I shouldn't be able to see. Anyway, so old Roxy and I, we had found cemeteries and houses that are haunted aplenty, because in El Dorado County, where we grew up, we come to find out that somebody a very long time ago built diamond-shaped pillars that went straight up. I believe they were like they're like 35 feet. And somebody a long time ago took an aerial view and did a dot to dot and realized if you did it with the placement of the pillars, that they worked out to a pentagram.
Wow.
So when the city realized that, they leveled every single one except for one for historical reasons. So that's still up. It's got a little plaque explaining everything, blah, blah, whoop, whoop. So that particular county was just this fucking supernatural absolute haven. It was just ridiculous. So we would go out to different cemeteries and we would hear ghost stories coming out of them. And we've seen a lot of things in a lot of spots. And Roxy actually has a couple particularly good ones he wants to share. But the one that I'm going to share was a graveyard that we did find activity at in a place called Rescue, California. It's right above Rescue. It's right above Sacramento, right before the Cameron Park, El Dorado.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a little spit of a town. They even sell T-shirts that say "Where the hell is Rescue?" It's that small. But this particular cemetery was nice. It was maintained. It did have a big, creepy wrought iron gate like in the movies. But besides that, it was maintained. It was landscaped. Jimmy, I swear for God, I'm going to blow a load in your eyes so they stick shut if you don't knock it off.
Dude, look at those creepy bedroom eyes, man.
Anyway, so we go to this and we see, the little shadows. You get that kind of somebody else is here with you feeling that you're there and blah, blah, blah. My sister, and she couldn't have been more than 10, and her best friend just begged me and Roxy to take them out and show them one of the cemeteries that we like, that we think there are ghosts in. So we picked this one in Rescue because it felt like the least threatening one to take children to. Yes, people, at nighttime, we took children to a graveyard. That's how fucking responsible we are or were. So we pull in, we go out, we open up the gates, we pull my car in, and we go out and sit at this really nicely kept, stone tables, stone benches. And we thought back then, as apparently is popular on the shows now, that the best way to get ghosts' attention, to make them want to come out and fuck around, would be to talk about them and antagonize them. So we started talking about them, and there wasn't really much going on. And my sister and her friend kind of started busting our balls a little bit. So we kicked it up to shit talk. And now it was a beautiful summer night. There was no wind. And you know those little pinwheels like at kids' birthday parties and shit?
Yeah.
Whole bunch of those were put on the graves of children. So that right there is creepy enough. And out of the blue, they all started spinning. And there was no wind. They just all started fucking spinning.
By themselves, just without no wind.
Yeah, and then that creepy, you're actually in danger feeling kind of hit us. So, of course, I have my little sister there. I get up on my feet like, I'm going to put them up, buddy. We'll see what you got, ghosts. And now, next, there was this table. There was this big, giant redwood tree. This big, beautiful piece of big, beautiful piece of wood, huh, Jimmy? Yeah. Yeah. But just past that goes way far back into the graveyard. There were no lights. We were dealing with a full moon. There were no lights in this cemetery.
Oh my gosh.
But you could see some of the taller headstones in the background. Now, as these things start spinning and that sense of imminent danger starts setting in on us, is when all four of us happen to be looking straight back. We're looking back past the tree, back into the darkness, and we see this shadow rise up out of the ground. All four of us saw that, and my sister and her friend weren't waiting around to say, what was that? They hauled their happy asses to my car, jumped in, locked the doors, and wasn't going to let anybody the fuck in. So me and Doug run to the car, and the doors are locked. And we're like, they'll open the doors. And they're going,
Oh.
I finally convinced them to unlock the doors so we can get in. And the car won't start. It's not getting any juice at all. And these two kids in the back seat saw me try to start the car, and it wouldn't start. And they lost their goddamn mind. It was quite the thing. So we jump out, put my car in neutral. It was actually Roxy's idea. We put my car in neutral, and we pushed that sumbitch out through the gates and onto the street, and it started right up. And we got the absolute fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So that's not anything that they ever really recovered from. That was their first ghost experience. And I'll be honest, for a first experience, it was pretty fucking horrific seeing that
But
map.
was that before or after the ghost fingered your butthole?
That was after the ghost fingered my butthole and before I roofied the kids.
Wow.
Oh, shit. All right. So I got ghost story numero uno cleared right out the ballpark.
Oh.
That's right. Now, get pretty there. There you go, sweetheart. You heard the video, right, where old Uncle Jay said that Roxy was looking kind of foxy.
Yeah. I'm concerned.
You should be concerned.
Yes.
I'm quite concerned.
Every time he focuses his attention on somebody, something starts happening to that somebody. So just make sure your doors are locked. I know you're living up there in Auburn where nothing happens, but just make sure you're locking your door at night, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Doug, and all kinds of stuff happens in Auburn.
Yeah, you talk about like sex with cows. Yeah, that used to happen.
I'm talking about like the Green River Killer.
Oh, creepy Jimmy. Save that for your podcast.
Yes.
Pretty soon, old creepy Jimmy is going to be bringing us all a podcast about the most infamous serial killers in history. That's
Oh, wow.
gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait. So, Roxy, tell me a story. Come on, babe. Let's hear one. Give it to me.
Well, I never had any kind of a weird experience, any kind of paranormal, until we moved from the Bay Area up to El Dorado Hills in the summer of 1988. And here's what's weird. The house we moved into, brand fucking new house. I mean, we watched it be built
That was a
from
nice
the
house.
ground up.
Just so everybody
Yeah.
knows, that was a nice fucking house.
And very quickly, weird shit started happening in there. For one, there are these like little beads, like little girls' play beads, jewelry type beads. Like they're clear and different colors, like strings of 3 to like 10, and they would just randomly appear throughout the house, like for years. They would just randomly appear, and then there'd be all these, you know. I mean, I would just, throughout my teenage years, I would get these like god awful, horrific like feelings when I'd be by myself in my room. I mean, there would be nights I would literally sleep with a dagger under my pillow. Not that I thought that would do any good against a ghost, but it had made me feel better.
Right.
I mean, it was just so weird. So many weird things throughout the years. There was you remember that small room upstairs directly from the TV room, we called it?
Oh,
That
okay.
little small narrow room.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one time watching TV in there alone. Everyone else is asleep. I'm by myself. The door's closed. And all of a sudden, from behind the recliner, there's heavy breathing. And it's getting closer and closer and closer. And I turned the sound down on the TV thinking maybe it's something weird with the TV, because I always try to like debunk shit. I always try to say, well, what could be causing it that's real world, you know, that's normal, you know. I turned the sound down all the way, and it's getting closer. I'm on my knees in front of the TV. It's getting closer behind me and closer, and my mind is imagining whatever this thing could look like, you know. And then I eventually turned the TV off. And it's still happening. And it's getting closer to my ear. And then I thought, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm fooling myself. So I covered my mouth and plugged my nose and held my breath. And it gets closer and closer, like right to my ear. And then finally, I turn around and I look, and it stops like that. As soon as I turned and looked, it stopped. And I'm like, holy fucking hell. There's that. There's there was the lady I saw walk into my room and walk out.
Roxy,
You know,
can I share a real quick one?
Sure.
We're sitting in his living room. It's like 1 a.m, and this god awful growl or roar or something is coming from upstairs. So we immediately jump up onto our feet, and then we hear his mother yell out, "Good God, Chuck, take some gas X."
Oh my God.
You remember that? And I was like, "Oh my God, that was your dad farting?" He goes, "Yeah, that's."
I was like, wait a minute, was this the night that the doors are slamming? No, okay, got it.
Wow. Wow.
All right, I'm sorry. Continue. That was a good one. What's your next one about that? Wonderful. Brand new, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Swimming pool. Gorgeous.
I just wonder because they had to bulldoze down and then level it out for the foundation.
Right.
So like the hilltop where Silva Valley Road was about level with the second floor. I just wonder what the fuck they dug up when they were, you know, and just kept it under wraps. I don't know, because it was just so weird. But anyway, the biggest thing that ever happened to me in that house,
It's like almost like,
and this was after we graduated. So I was about 18, and my little brother was about 10, and my grandma was living with us. and we're just we're having Chinese food, homemade Chinese food for dinner. And they had dished my brother up first. We were just going to eat in the living room and watch TV. So he's sitting on the floor at the coffee table with his plate and his glass of Sunny Delight orange juice right there, a glass. Yep.
That's the way it used to be. That's the way
right.
it used to be. Everybody gathered in the living room, ate dinner together,
Yeah.
socialized. That shit don't happen
Oh,
anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks
But
for the commentary
anyway-
there, Jimmy.
Anyway, no, it's cool. So so my mom and my grandma were in the kitchen. My dad's sitting in his recliner. I'm sitting on the couch right across from the recliner.
What the fuck was that?
And my brother's sitting on the floor eating his food. And I got one of those really weird, dreadful feelings again. Usually I only got those alone. This time I got this in front of, with everybody around. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. And all of a sudden, it's like my head was guided. It's weird because I could feel my face contort into kind of a sneer. Kind of can't tell with this makeup, but this kind of like weird sneery look. I don't know why, but my head kind of looked, and I looked at the glass of orange juice, and all of a sudden, it just exploded across the fucking room. I mean, it just fucking, it was like an invisible person took an invisible golf club and just boom, and it just shattered out. Like my poor brother, he's about to take a bite of food, and there's his glass, and all of a sudden, boom, and he goes, "What the heck? What the heck?" There's glass in his food. If like the window down the way was first base, like think of the room like a baseball field. If the glass was home plate, the one window would have been first base. My dad's recliner would have been third, and the TV diagonal across the room would have been second base. And there was glass shards all across there, fanned out in that formation. My dad was he was paranoid of broken glass. So he's whipping out the vacuum cleaner, and he's he's finding glass all over the place. But when it first happened, it explodes. I just suddenly, that weird feeling left me. I just went like, oh my God, that just fucking happened.
Just to put this in some kind of a perspective, had his glass just been sitting there? Was it recently drank out of maybe and put down real hard?
No, it was just sitting there for about 10 or 15 minutes. It was just sitting there, however long he was eating. It was just sitting there, and I just looked at it, and it just suddenly went boom, and it just like exploded outwardly. And I went, and I stood there, and the orange juice is just going all over the place, and my brother's freaking out. My dad looks over and he goes, "What the hell happened?" I went, the glass exploded." He goes, "Why are you just standing there? Start cleaning it up." And so, okay. So we all scramble. We're cleaning up the orange juice. My dad's vacuuming all over the place. Jesus Christ, I can't believe there's all this glass here by the TV, by the fireplace, all over the place. We had to throw away my brother's food. And
Yeah.
and it was like, it was about 20 minutes of commotion trying to clean up everything. My mom and grandma come into the room. What the hell happened? And it was a big thing. And then, of course, my parents, they always tried to like explain something away, like, well, it could have been warm from the dishwasher. Well, yeah, but that's not going to be 15 minutes later. That's going to be like an instant. That's going to be an instant thing, not what?
It wouldn't have been explosive.
Yeah,
right, exactly. It just cracks and collapses on itself. I've seen that happen, but I'll tell you, as I was walking back to the kitchen when everyone was kind of settling down, I thought I was by myself, and I kind of looked up and I went, "Yeah, good one, guys." And my dad goes from behind, he goes, "What'd you say?" And he was following me into the kitchen. I went, "Huh?" I went, "Oh," and he's looking at me really weird, and I'm like, nothing. And he just looked at me really freaking weird. And I'm like, but yeah, I was like, dude. And later on, my brother and I were like, "What the fuck did you think that?" And Eric's like, "Oh my God, I'm freaked out." He's like only 10. And then as soon as I could, I had the chance. I'm on the phone to Rob. Rob, you won't fucking believe this shit. But I mean, that shit just exploded.
Crazy, man.
I laughed so hard because anybody who ever knew Chuck just knew the look on his face when he went, "Who the hell are you talking to?"
Yeah.
I had a visual of it, and I almost peed myself. That was great. No, I remember, and then you called me that night. You're like, "Dude, it happened. It happened. The carpet is still wet." I was like, "What?" Yeah, we always believe in that shit. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and talk about supernatural assaults, but before we do, Mr. Casanova's got one for us.
I got one too.
You do?
There you go.
After you, Chris.
All right. Well, this goes back to 2002 in Sunnyvale, California. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. And this is where I used to work at Long's as a manager. A quick
That's where I used to go. That's where I used to go steal my fucking food and shit.
Oh, from Long's? Yeah. So I'll give you the backstory. So before these buildings were built, it used to be an orchard, like a ranch, and this guy owned it. So he had this ranch hand. This goes back to the 1800s, and this ranch hand fell in love with the guy's daughter, I guess. Well, anyhow, she went and married someone back east. And so this guy was just kind of devastated, heartbroken. You guys can look it up too. Sunnyvale Haunted Ghost Story. You can look it up. So they found him and with an axe in him, and he killed himself, and he bled to death. So the story is that he's always haunting Long's and Toys R Us, which are directly right next to each other. Right. And I heard the story. So when I got promoted and they moved me to that store, I already knew about this and talking to the employees and the other managers, and like, yeah, it's legit. Like, you turn off the lights, you close up, and there's these stairs that went up into, like, on the top of the store. We stored a bunch of stuff up there, and you would hear like the shells rattling, the light switches going click, 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 click. You would hear people walking up the stairs, boom, 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 just causing ruckus the whole entire time. A lot of women, sometimes they would feel the hair kind of get brushed sometimes in the back of the warehouse. Like, they're in the warehouse kind of working, and it would feel like just a nice little brush across the hair. When I first experienced it, I already knew the story, and I would take someone with me when we closed up. I would be like, all right, everyone leave the store, because you have to walk the store at night, making sure there's no one in the back or anything like that. Yeah. So, yes, very hardcore, Connie.
That is hardcore.
So anyhow, first time I experienced it, I took someone with me. I'm like, all right, let's go. And everybody has cleared out the store. I did my walk with one of my employees, and we could just hear it. Click, click, click. Boom, boom, boom. Just causing all kinds of ruckus. And it to this day, it's still going on. I mean, it's very, very creepy. But if anybody wants to look it up, yeah, look, you can put Haunted Ghost Story, Sunnyvale, California, and it will tell you what.
Did you ever actually see it, or was it always just audio?
It was always audio. I never seen it. Now, there are stories that the store next to us, which is the Toys R Us, which is across.
Yes, I was just going to say Toys R Us.
Yes, Toys R Us.
You remember that shit? Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was crazy.
It was. They have seen images of him. Like, just basically like images from a distance.
Remember toys would fly off the shelves?
And yeah.
Oh shit! I remember that. Yeah.
Did they do a TV special on that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was on the news.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I worked at that store 3 years. It belongs right across the way. I worked there 3 years, and literally, he roamed that whole area. I mean, it was, like I said, it was orchards and ranches back in the day.
Yeah.
So his spirit is still going strong.
Yeah, and Connie apparently would have quit that job the first tick, tick, tick that she heard.
Well, shortly after that, I moved to Sacramento for a bit. That's when I got moved up to Sacramento for the other store. But yeah, I was there for 3 years, and Same pattern every time I closed, and I just got used to it after a while. Like I was just to a point I'm like, okay, it is what it is, type thing. But I'll be honest, I would say the first 6 months or so was pretty damn creepy. But so yeah, that's my story.
A good fucking story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
was good. I
Chris
remember that on the
Jackson,
news.
keep it rolling. Good shit, brother. Jimmy, what you got for us, man? Tell me
I
something.
remember on the news when they showed that Toys R Us,
Mhm.
and the toys were flying off the shelves. And I remember going to that Toys R Us with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and shit would just like fall off the shelves
Yeah.
all the time.
Wow.
Okay, so my story starts
Wow.
in Vallejo, California. Or not Vallejo, in Benicia. My mom had bought this trailer from this guy who got this trailer from a guy who overdosed on heroin. So my first week of being in this, it's a trailer. My first week of being in this trailer, I'm sleeping in the back room of this trailer, and my mom's in the living room. And about 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know if this was sleep apnea or if this was like some kind of thing going on with me, but all of a sudden I wake up out of the blue, and my leg is doing circles, like somebody's got my leg and they're going like this.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
My whole body is tingling like you know how like your leg falls asleep. My whole body was doing that.
Yeah, like you got ants or AIDS or something, right?
No.
Oh.
And then it felt like this guy, it felt like whoever had a hold of my leg was trying to drag me down the hallway. And when I woke up, I was like, Mom. And I couldn't even speak. I couldn't say her name. She couldn't hear me. I couldn't scream. And then all of a sudden it stopped. It was like I gave up and it all stopped.
Oh man.
Wow.
That's like the weirdest thing I ever experienced. They
It's got
could have been
chills, dude.
They could have been paranormal.
Now, see, that's kind of wild, Jimmy, because that falls into, if we have time for it, that falls into what I was going to talk about for the Laughs and Lies segment. So it's going to be similar to that. All right. So
It very well exists, man. Like seriously, I believe that stuff like that exists. It does. There's some people that don't believe in it, but it does. It's there.
Roxy, shall we discuss an assault?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we both got our sides of that story. Yeah.
Let me, and this is going to be a two-person story, but let me set the scene for you real quick. When I was when I was still a kid, I cut school because I was a young little piece of garbage. And me and the kid that I cut school with decided to nothing, nobody. I was a young piece of garbage. Nobody's going to follow up what it was. Nothing. You guys suck. Anyway.
I'm just going to laugh.
All right. Went to the cemetery, a very, very old cemetery. El Dorado County was lousy with them. And I found one particular set of graves, which belonged to a family. Her last name was McDonald. So me and being the young little piece of fuck that I was, and my little buddy who was just equally as big a POF, we started dancing on the graves, singing the old McDonald had a farm, and I took this big broom handle that was there, and I started drilling it down into the middle grave until eventually it wouldn't go down anymore. I probably hit a rock. The odds of me actually hitting a casket are probably about that big. But finally, we left. So 1,000 years later, when Doug, hang on, you talk about an imaginary friend. Go ahead, Chris, read that out to us.
All right. My second son used to talk to an imaginary friend, and they would hang out in one spot in my folks' old house. I thought it was just an imaginary friend until my third son started talking to the same imaginary friend in the same area of the house. 6 years later, we moved.
All right.
Wow.
Send her an invite to tell the story.
Oh, she won't take it. Sorry, I know her. She won't. Okay, so forever later, as Mr. Red and I are doing our searching for the truth, as we like to call it, I took him to this graveyard, and it was the daytime, as I recall. Is that right? The first time we went there?
No, the first time we ever went there, you told me about it. We were hanging out at some place, and you told me, oh yeah, right down the road. I'm like, oh, let's go. The first time we ever went there, you didn't want to go in, and so we went there. I parked down the road a little ways, and you stayed by the car. And I went over the barbed wire, and it was at night, and I'm walking around checking it out, and I'm like, okay, so a few minutes, and then as I'm approaching the barbed wire, I hear a laughing behind me. I hear, and I turned, and I went, hold on. I went back to the barbed wire. I looked over, thinking maybe you were playing a joke. You were still leaning up against my car. So you're like 50 yards away. You were like, there's no way you could have thrown your voice like that. So, because this is like behind the fence. Someone could have been fucking with me on the other side of the fence, but I went back and I checked it out some more like an idiot instead of just getting out. And then finally I went over the barbed wire. That was the first time you ever took me to this graveyard. And then we went several times later.
The reason then that I must have gone back there alone at some point in the daytime, because I went back to the McDonald family plot. There was 3 headstones there just to put some flowers on the grave, because I kind of carried guilt about that. And then I noticed the one that I was taking the stick and digging into the ground was imploding. So the grave literally collapsed in on itself. So I felt very uncomfortable. Shit, am I frozen? There we go. I felt very uncomfortable about going back in there. So then we decided to go back another day with this guy that we knew. He was a young
Dorian.
Pretty good lover, good fisher. He was a good guy.
Dorian,
yes.
Yeah.
And, we go inside. I remember I still felt kind of uncomfortable, so I stayed kind of close to the fencing. Again, another gigantic redwood tree that has been there for 1,000 years. And Roxy runs back over to the McDonald family, because for some reason you were always drawn there first. And it was like midnight. So I'm standing back by the fence with Dorian, and he suddenly kind of gave me a bit of a push on my back shoulder. And I was like, dude, what do you need? He looks at me in shock, and he says, what do you mean? I said, you just gave me a little nudge. What do you need? And he said, I didn't touch you. Right when he said that, it felt like a Ford F-150 drove into me at like 50, blasted me off my feet, back about 6 feet, and I bounced off this newly constructed fence. Boom! I hit the ground, and I was in pain. I mean, that was pain. I was having a hard time getting my wind. I was having a hard time getting back onto my feet, because it felt like I had what felt like a foot in the middle of my back, trying to push me back down to the ground. So Roxy comes running over. Take it from there, brother.
So yeah, I'm out exploring the other part, and all I hear from the distance is a slam against wood, and then a thump, and then I'm like, so I go running back, and Rob is like getting up on his hands and knees, and Dorian is standing by the fucking fence. If he hadn't already gone back over, he had a terrified. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, he just looked utterly terrified and like dumbstruck. So I'm like, what the hell happened? And so you're on your hands and knees, and up in the fucking attic, I have my Alice Cooper doll to have a visual aid, but I fucking left it up there, so I'll have to do my best. Basically, I'm helping you get up. And a little backstory, Rob used to like want to throw down with anybody in front of cops or whoever, and I was back in the day, and I was always paranoid. I was more paranoid of getting like in legal trouble, like arrested. My dad was an ex-cop. I was more worried about getting arrested and getting hurt. So I was always like, I could always like stop Rob. He'd be running, and I'd just go, And he just like, I just stop him.
Roxy, what was I doing? I was running like what?
Well, you just running and whatever, screaming, doing whatever, jumping through the air, and then I catch you, whatever. And anyway, so that was always kind of a thing. Like Rob runs and runs, and then like kind of like unstoppable force, a movable object, kind of a thing, kind of a thing. Anyway, so the reason why I bring that up is because I'm helping Rob get up onto his feet, and he gets to a point where he's like, his legs are completely straight like this. Wow. And he's bent over. He's like 90 degrees bent over with his shoulder kind of near my midsection and like not too far. And all of a sudden, and this is so weird, and it's plays in my mind again and again, he suddenly lunges into my midsection, but he didn't really, his legs move, like his legs are straight, and they just kind of went like he didn't, like normally you'd spring your legs and then if you were going to try to tackle someone, you'd have to like bend your legs and power forward with your legs and stuff. This was the movement made no sense because like he's bent over 90 degrees with his legs perfectly straight, and he just suddenly goes into me, and I went a foot or two back and slammed against a tree. Like just like that never happened before. And it was like, what the fuck, dude? And so, I helped him, and then I helped him get over the fence, and I think Dorian, I'm pretty sure Dorian was already by the street by that time. But, then I got the hell out of there.
Damn.
Was that?
He was gone.
Dude, so I'm like helping you back to the car. We get in, we were in my car, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And you're like weren't talking, like you weren't saying much. You wanted to go to your house, so I dropped you off at your house, I think is how it went. I don't have a great memory of this part. I think I dropped you off, and then I dropped off Dorian and then came back to your house.
I think I would have been by the car too if a ghost was power plunging Rob Wilds.
The reason that old Roxy was commenting on how I was always swinging at the fences was because for some reason, in my young, stupid mind, I'm getting up, talking shit like, all right, motherfucker, I'm going to fight this ghost. And I got my ready to go. He's trying to get me stood vertically so he could walk me out. And I'm ready to fight. And then, boom, I get thrown into him. He actually picked my ass up over his shoulder, walked over the barbed wire fence, and flung me over like a toy and said,
"Is that what I did?"
Damn.
I can't quite remember. Okay, that does sound familiar. I couldn't remember exactly how I got you to the fence. What I remember most is the movement, the physical movement that made no sense. Of your legs are perfectly straight and you're bent over a 90-degree angle, and all of a sudden you just like move like a glitch in the Matrix. You just like a freaking choppy video game. It was just weird. It was just the weirdest goddamn movement that made no sense.
And that was a situation where I really should have read the room because as this is all, as I'm over on the other side of the fence, in my head, as clear as day, I'm hearing somebody telling me to come in, come back in, come back. And I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker, I'll come back. And I was like, get in the car. And this poor Dorian kid, who we went to high school with, we knew him for years. We never saw him again after that.
Well, I saw him at school, but yeah, he never hung out with us ever again. No. And when I dropped him off, I'm like, dude, I says, Dorian, what exactly did you see? What the hell, And he goes, and he looked at me and he's just like, Doug, I just want to go home. He just had like the look of death in his eyes. Like, I just want to go to bed. I just want to go. I don't know. Like, he's just like, I'm out.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm out.
So he drops me at the house because I had to put an ice pack on my ribs. When he comes back over, he's like, you okay? And I pulled my shirt up, and it was already changing colors where most of the impact hit on the right side.
Dang.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a thing. That was an actual physical assault. And I get it. If it was the McDonald guy, I was dancing on his grave, man. I deserved every bit of that ass whooping plus. But yeah, that kind of was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll always stick with me. That bizarre glitch in the matrix, straight leg,
Yeah,
makes no sense. Tackle into my midsection, just.
Oh.
Well, and
It's like, how do you do that on his tiptoes?
Before that happened, I remember a lot of pressure. Like I was in a vice. So like something actually grabbed me and just went into me. Yeah, it was an all around, it was a proper ass whooping. It was short and sweet and very powerful.
Yeah.
And how tall are you, Roxy?
About 6'2".
And how much did you weigh back then?
Back then, I was probably hovering around 230, 240.
So that gives you an idea right there of how powerful that push was.
Yeah.
More like a throw.
Jeez.
Yeah, something. I mean, it was like just you're just it's hard to describe because it just
real quick. I take a moment to acknowledge this shit that Connie said. This is why black folk don't fuck around like that, because that's that devil shit, right, Connie? That's why y'all don't fuck around. It's that devil shit.
They're out.
That's that shit that them white people fucks with.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're too stupid. I hear laughing in the graveyard and I go, oh, what was that? I go towards the light.
Hey,
check it out.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got another story? Because me and Roxy got a million of them. You guys got another one you want to throw out there?
I have none, man. I got bounce in a minute, two, but man, these are great stories. All of them.
Always gotta bounce.
I know. Well, I'm freaked out by Uncle Jay.
I'm fucking terrified about Uncle Jay, that goddamn psychopath. Did you guys get the same email I got from him letting us know that he is in fact going to start doing a podcast? And there's nothing we can do about it?
I did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got it too.
We're gonna have to discuss that off the air on what we can do to maybe prevent that, or should we just let it happen? We're gonna have to talk about this, but
we should let it happen.
What?
How would you stop him?
Yeah,
I don't know. And this is the email. This was the picture in the email for everybody that we all three got. Apparently, that's what he's going to use, Uncle Jay's Funhouse. I don't know how I feel about this because of our history with the guy. But real quick, I would like to share our first real ghost experience, like our real one that we experienced together at the brand new house in El Dorado Hills, right across the street from Coke Ridge High School. That's right, I said Coke because fuck that place. We were talking about, because he was telling me about him seeing this woman that he was referencing earlier that would walk into his room. Now, my brain always wrote it off as that was your mom. That was a dream. You know, that's too Ghostbusters obvious.
And to be fair, that I know it wasn't my mom because the hair was down to the small of her back and it wasn't the right build or anything. But I have wondered that particular one. I am a little hesitant on talking about because it could have been. Sometimes I could like partially wake up from a dream and see the dream overlaid over reality. It's a really weird thing, especially when I was a teenager. This happened quite a bit. So it could have been a dream. It could have, that is totally fair. That wow,
So we decided we're going to pull out one of those old school tape recorders where you got to hit record and play at the same time.
Yeah.
So we set up one of those things and we just start talking to the ghosts in the house. Why don't you, because we were really good at haunting. Why don't you guys throw a backbone, pull it out of the grave, show us that you're here. We start hearing rattling from the kitchen. Very low rattle, very quiet, but it was enough. It was audible enough for us to take notice of it. When we go into the kitchen, it would stop. Go back into the living room, start hearing that rattling, then it would stop. So when we finally start really getting irritated and insulting the shit out of whatever is going on, that's when shit got real for us. And we're like, okay, this is actually happening. And that's when we started actually hearing the plates in the cabinets banging around, bing, 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 bing,
Yeah.
like it was going down. And we're like, holy shit, this is happening. Now, as far as we knew, having just been upstairs, every bedroom door, every closet door, bathroom, every door upstairs was already closed because we were the only ones home, and that's how his family did it. Just close the door behind you when you leave. At once, we heard this explosion of every single door upstairs being slammed in unison, even though there were no windows open, upstairs, downstairs, and the fact that the fucking doors were closed. So that happens. And Doug, everybody's leaving us. Roxy jumps up. He runs to the foot of the stairs and he looks up the staircase. And he said, oh my God, there she is. So I get up and I run to the foot of the staircase, and sure as shit, there's that woman that Doug has seen coasting through his bedroom kind of in the middle of the night. So
yeah, very, very, very faint. Very faint. And I mean, I'm like, it's like, yeah, that was, yeah, I don't even know what the deal. I mean, again, brand new house makes no sense. So
see, as I recall it up at the top of the stairs, do you mean very faint, usually speaking, or that day?
Well, from what I can remember of this, because I remember the door slamming more than anything else for some reason, I do remember seeing at the top of the stairs, but it was like very faint in my vision, like just kind of see-through and kind of, did she look more, just very, very faint, like, what is that? Just kind of squinting your eyes and like, shit, because I always, and I forget about that part, but it's just like, there's so much shit going on in that house all throughout my teenage years. And quick, I just,
quick, Roxy, we're getting low on time. That's what I say. We'll go as long as we fucking want to. But Connie, I know you're too much of a pussy to take the invitation, but just in case you want to tell a good ghost story, you can go ahead and follow that link right on in here. Boom, boom, boom. Jump on in here and tell us a spooky story if you want to. Sorry, Doug. Okay, Roxy. Fuck. I'm so bad at real names.
It's okay. I have enough of them to go around. It just
so many names.
Yeah, no, so many things. I wonder if there was just something about, they say teenagers going through all their changes and everything, all the hormones, they're like more susceptible to stuff. I don't know if there's just like, I was a magnet for shit or in that, whatever weird shit in that house. But I mean, it just, like the exploding glass, there have been times and people have said, well, what if it was you? Because I looked at the glass and then it blew up. It's like, well, yeah, I've thought of that, but I've actually tried to Jedi mind trick explode glasses on purpose, and it never worked. So, I just, but it was just like, but it's like my head was guided, and I just looked at it, and all of a sudden, boom, like something was going, here, watch this, and then boom, and it was just like, fuck, man.
Well, old Connie brings up a great point with what you were just saying. Have you ever considered that one of you might be personally haunted? I've considered the fact that we're both personally haunted because of how regularly things would appear.
Yeah.
Like the
what?
Like the Cameron Park house. That woman that we would see in my garage standing just outside the side door. We see her.
Oh shit! Yes,
park, just her silhouette.
Yes. Oh man, I fucking forgot about that.
That was terrifying.
Yeah. How much happened? How much did you see in that house? Like, did you experience?
It was a very, very regular thing up there. Like, I'll give you a real quick one here. My sister had these little earrings, like sleigh bells, little tiny ones. And in her dresser, they were jingling. And it scared the absolute hell out of her. So she came bolting into my room and said, my jingle bells are ringing. What the fuck does that mean? So I went into her bedroom and I sat there. Nothing was happening. Eventually, we started hearing the ding, 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 ding. So I said, don't worry about it. I grabbed them, took them into my room so she wouldn't have to listen to it anymore. And I sat there and listened to it for the next 6 months. Randomly, ding, 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 ding. No, that house was, but I think the whole county, I think the whole surrounding area was haunted.
Oh yeah. Well, when I realized as a teenager just how old that area is and how much history it has, I was like, "Holy shit!
Well,
This is
pentagram
wow."
pillars, right? I mentioned that when you had to restart.
I have my problems. Yeah.
The pentagram pillars, they knocked them all down except the one in Placerville.
Where was that again?
In Placerville, those pillars that when they took the aerial, they realized it dotted out to a pentagram. Remember, they leveled them all but one.
Kind of. I don't.
Standing was still in Hangtown.
Huh. God, the thing I remember most about Hangtown was the stupid you hitting me with your car thing. Which that was not a haunting thing. That was just kids being stupid.
No, come on. Don't leave it out there like that. Like I just ran you over with my car. You fucking
no, it was at my request. Yes, it was at my request that you hit me with your car. You know, we were going to play a joke on a friend and the cops got called and I almost got shot. Yeah. And another day in the life, another night in the life, you know.
Us running around being dick shits. Do you have any more? Like a quickie you wanna throw out there before we gotta call this one a day?
Oh shit. Now that you asked, my mind goes blank. No, just the general stuff in that house that I never experienced anything. And then the beads were so weird for the first several years, the random beads that would just appear. Like we could all be sitting in the, watching a movie, right? In the living room. And you know, that deep blue carpet, we'd just be sitting there. And then halfway through the movie, all of a sudden bright yellow string of beads in the middle of the room. And someone goes, well, look, there's another there's another string of beads. And no one noticed this earlier. It's like suddenly, oh, they're just there. They just appear. And it was weird. It was just that was the first bunch of weird things was the beads.
Like you mentioned it in the beginning of all this, it's not like you bought the house from somebody. It was built and you moved in. I remember us working out in the garage after you've been there for years. And I sit up on the weight bench and I glance over at the refrigerator in the garage. And I said, oh, look, there's a pair of those beads under the fridge. And you're like, son of a bitch, they just show up everywhere. And they did.
Yeah.
Like somebody would have said, wheeling a refrigerator in, plugging it in. Oh, let me kick those beads out of the way first.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They would. I remember having another friend over one time. I think I was 14 or something. And I was telling him about the beads. And all of a sudden he goes, oh, you mean like those right there? And I look at, yeah. Fucking those.
Fucking like those. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Well, all right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this. This is going to be a new tradition. Every year, we're going to come on here. We're going to just tell some ghost stories. We're just going to sling some shit, have some fun. Sorry we couldn't get to the laughs and lies. I had a good one. It's a fun one. We're going to have to bring you on next time we decide to do that. You know, I tell the story. You guys listen to the story. You talk amongst yourselves. Ask me questions. Then you decide if I'm telling the truth or if I'm full of fucking bullshit. So anyway, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for joining us for yet another riveting and exciting episode of WrestleShoot. And we're going to see you guys next week. And hopefully by next week, we're going to have an updated programming schedule for you. I would be remiss if I don't mention real quick, I believe starting next week, perhaps following, our friends from the Coast to Coast Network are going to be sending one of their shows over to us because they like our uncensored kind of say whatever the fuck you want to say attitude. And I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's going to be like talking shit with Ace and Mess Around. Good old Ace and Mess Around Dave are going to be lending their particular brand of insanity over here at the Antisocial Network. So, Roxy, thanks for hanging out with us again, brother.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It's always fun, and hopefully we'll be getting that whole talking xenomorph thing back. You know, just an idea that I'm having. You know. All right, guys. Later.
All right.